Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that I think we can all relate to at some point in our lives. The kinds of people who can really throw a wrench in our Stoic journey. You know, those folks who just seem to suck the energy right out of you? Yeah, those. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." And honestly, that's such a powerful reminder. The people we surround ourselves with can have a huge impact on our mindset and overall well-being. So, if you want to keep your emotional and mental energy in check, stick around as we explore 7 types of people you might want to avoid, and I'll share some tips on how to deal with them. And hey, if you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more Stoic wisdom. Let's get into it. Alright, first up on our list is the classic complainer. You know who I'm talking about. We all have that friend, family member, or coworker who seems to find fault in everything. The weather? Too hot or too cold. Their job? Always a drag. The food at that trendy restaurant? Never good enough. It's like they have a PhD in complaining. Now, you might think, I can just ignore them, right? But honestly, that's easier said than done. Being around constant negativity can really drain your emotional battery. It's like having a leaky faucet. It just keeps dripping away your energy little by little. So, how do we deal with this? First, try to limit your exposure to them whenever you can. If it's a family member or a coworker you can't escape, then mentally distance yourself when they start their complaining spree. Picture their complaints as a passing storm, loud and unsettling, but ultimately temporary. And if you can, steer the conversation toward solutions or something more positive. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Keep that in mind, and guard your mental peace like it's the most valuable treasure you own. Next up, let's talk about the drama magnet. Imagine you're sailing smoothly through life, and then bam! You hit a whirlpool of chaos. That's what it feels like when you're around a drama magnet. These folks seem to have an endless supply of crises and conflicts, and before you know it, you're caught up in their storm. At first, their energy might seem exciting. Like, ooh, drama. But soon enough, you realize it's exhausting. You might even find yourself embroiled in conflicts that you had no part in. For example, you have a friend who's always falling out with someone in your social circle. One day it's Sarah, the next it's Tom. Suddenly, you're stuck in the middle, and it's a total mess. So, how do you navigate this? One technique is called reflective listening. Instead of jumping in with advice or taking sides, just mirror their words back to them. If they say, "I can't believe Sarah said that about me," you could respond with, "So you're feeling betrayed by what Sarah said?" This way, you're supporting them without getting dragged into the drama yourself. And here's a little counterintuitive tip. Become selectively unavailable. Sometimes, you just have to prioritize your own peace. Turn off your phone during certain hours or set aside time for yourself. Focus on what matters to you, and let their chaos swirl away. Remember, as Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. So, keep your ship sailing smoothly, and don't let anyone else's drama capsize your journey. Now, let's move on to the naysayer. Picture this. You're an artist, pouring your heart into a beautiful canvas. And then, here comes the naysayer, glancing at your work and immediately critiquing it. Are you sure about that color? That doesn't look realistic. You know, most artists never make it. Their words are like gray paint, dulling your vibrant masterpiece. It's tough, right? You're excited about pursuing a new career path or starting a new project, and when you share your enthusiasm, the naysayer jumps in with a laundry list of reasons why it won't work. The market is too competitive. Do you have the right skills? What if you fail? Before you know it, their doubts start to seep into your mind, and that confident vision you had begins to wobble. So, how do you handle a naysayer? One effective method is to flip the script. Instead of just sharing your plans, ask them for advice. When they're put in an advisory role, they're less likely to outright attack your ideas. For example, if they say, "You'll never be able to switch careers at this stage," you could counter with, "Interesting perspective. How do you think someone could successfully make a career change?" This not only deflects their negativity but also encourages a more constructive conversation. And remember, as Epictetus wisely said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Listening doesn't mean absorbing everyone's negativity. It means discerning valuable input from mere noise. So when the naysayers start to cloud your canvas, take a step back, listen, reflect, and keep painting your life with the colors that resonate with you. Alright, moving on to the fourth type, the victim. Imagine life as a game of chess. You've got your pieces, your strategy, and your goals. But the victim? They're always blaming the board, the pieces, or even their opponent for every poor move they make. They're stuck in a narrative of helplessness, convinced that external forces are always working against them. Now, it's important to recognize that some people face genuine hardships. But the victim we're talking about uses their situation as a permanent excuse, refusing to take responsibility for their actions. You might find yourself caught up in their storyline, constantly trying to rescue them from their problems. So, what's the best way to deal with a victim? It might be tempting to become their savior, offering endless advice and emotional support. But the Stoics would caution against this. Instead, practice compassionate detachment. Show empathy, but don't try to solve their problems for them. Offer a listening ear, but remember that they need to navigate their own situations. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. Focus on your own choices and growth, and don't let someone else's victim mentality pull you down into the depths of despair. Next up, we have the toxic positivist. You know the type. The ones who are always exuding sunshine and rainbows, telling you to just be happy when you're going through a tough time. It's like they have a one-size-fits-all solution for every problem. Just look on the bright side. While it's great to be positive, this kind of excessive optimism can feel invalidating. Imagine you're going through a tough breakup, and all they can say is, "There are plenty of fish in the sea. Just smile and be happy." It's like they're ignoring the complexities of human emotion. So, how do you deal with a toxic positivist? One strategy is to engage them in a discussion that embraces both light and shadow. If they say, "Look on the bright side, at least you have your health," you could respond with, "Yes, I'm grateful for my health, but it's also okay for me to feel upset about this specific issue." Both can coexist. You can also practice emotional granularity, recognizing and labeling your feelings, both positive and negative. When they push you to just be happy, take a moment to acknowledge your nuanced feelings. "I'm feeling a bit melancholic today due to X, and that's okay." Remember, true happiness is about understanding our duties and enjoying the present without anxious dependence on the future. So, the next time the toxic positivist sprinkles their confetti on your carefully tended garden, take a step back and remember that a garden needs both sunshine and rain to flourish. Now, let's talk about the manipulator. Picture your life as a movie script where you're the main character, and you have a vision of how your story should unfold. Enter the manipulator, the shadowy producer who subtly rewrites your script without you even realizing it. They're skilled at emotional maneuvering, using flattery, guilt trips, or even deceit to steer you in a direction that benefits them. You might have a friend who always manages to get you to pay for dinner by saying something like, "You know, I've been having a rough month, and you're so successful. It wouldn't mean much to you but would make my day better." Over time, you realize that your generosity has been taken advantage of, but calling them out feels uncomfortable because they framed it as a favor to a friend in need. So, how do you handle a manipulator? One effective method is called fogging. This technique involves agreeing with any truth in their statements but refusing to be moved by emotional coercion. If they say, "You're so successful, you should cover dinner," you could respond, "You're right that I've been doing well, but let's split the bill like we usually do." Another approach is to set clear boundaries and enforce them. If the manipulator wants you to lend them money or commit to tasks you're uncomfortable with, learn to say no assertively. Keep your tone calm and your words clear. "I can't lend money, but I'm here to offer emotional support." Drawing inspiration from Stoic thought. Remember what Epictetus warned us. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The manipulator thrives on your predictable reactions, manipulating your kindness, guilt, or desire for approval. By choosing to respond differently, you're taking control of your script. So, if you find a manipulator lurking in your life, remember that you're the one holding the pen. Your storyline is yours to write, and while the cast may include a variety of characters, your journey should always be guided by your own values and decisions. Finally, let's talk about the time vampire. Imagine your daily routine as a carefully crafted symphony, where each instrument represents a task or commitment. But then, the time vampire joins in, screeching off key and drowning out your melody. These folks might not be malicious. They could be a colleague who constantly interrupts you with trivial questions or a friend who invites you to countless social events that you're just not interested in. These interactions might seem inconsequential in the moment, but the cumulative effect can be profoundly disruptive. So, how do you protect your symphony from being ruined by a time vampire? One effective strategy is the Pomodoro technique. This time management method involves breaking your work into intervals, traditionally 25 minutes, separated by short breaks. During these intervals, make it clear that you're not to be disturbed. This sets a boundary that protects your most productive times from being nibbled away. If you find yourself dealing with a social time vampire, remember that saying no is not just okay, it's essential for your well-being. Instead of offering elaborate excuses, a simple, "I appreciate the invite, but I can't make it," suffices. Declining an invitation is not a rejection of the person. It's an affirmation of your own needs and priorities. As Seneca wisely stated, life, if well lived, is long enough. Stoicism teaches us that time is one of our most precious resources, one that should be allocated wisely. It's the canvas upon which we paint the portrait of our lives, and we should be highly selective about who and what deserves a stroke of our brush. In the grand composition of your life, make sure each note, each instrument, each melody aligns with your greater purpose. Don't let the cacophonous intrusion of a time vampire throw your symphony into disarray. As we wrap up our exploration of these 7 types of people, let's take a moment for some self-reflection. It's super easy to identify these traits in others, but the more challenging and enlightening task is to look within. Are you perhaps unintentionally playing one of these roles in someone else's life? Remember, Stoicism isn't just about navigating the world. It's also about understanding and improving ourselves. If today's discussion has sparked a realization, an epiphany, or even just a bit of introspection, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Please share your thoughts and your experiences, and let's engage in a dialogue that enriches us all. We're all on this journey together, and your insights could really help someone else out there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this exploration of the 7 types of people who can derail your Stoic journey both enlightening and relatable. Remember, may your choices align with your virtues, your actions reflect your wisdom, and may your life be the masterpiece you are meant to create. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any future content. Until next time, stay resilient, keep your circle uplifting, and always strive to be the best version of yourself. Take care.